Boom. What's up, everybody? Kevin Cox
Welcome,
here.
welcome. Marcus Ivy, what's going on? Weren't we just on yesterday?
I know, right? Long time no see, Marcus. Actually, I was just kicking it with you 5 minutes ago.
Just a little bit ago, we was just enjoying ourselves at another event that says called "We Will Overcome Now," and it's a young upstart group that's about organizing and getting the word out. And quite frankly, I was really proud of them because it may have been small, but you can tell that it was powerful. So no doubt.
There's nothing more beautiful than seeing young Black folks that are getting involved in the process. You know, they're not waiting for it. They're not waiting for permission, not asking for permission. They're just getting out there and taking the lead. So they had a voter registration booth.
Yep.
The young lady named Ebony was the one that organized it, reached out to us last night. And I was like, ain't no way I'm going to skip this. You know, so that's a beautiful thing. Man, Marcus, I'm super excited about today's episode.
Well, you got me hyped about it. A relevant topic for a situation and a time period where it is relevant. This is that time for Black businesses, Black companies, parents to start helping their children invest, teaching investment, and teaching them how to essentially become financially self-sufficient. So this is always valid. This is near and dear to my heart. So no doubt.
Oh yeah, I mean, so I want everybody to listen, learn, pay attention. We have a very well decorated veteran Black man, financial advisor, entrepreneur, author. He's done all the things, got all the letters after his names, got all the education, and I can't be more proud to have on Prince Dykes. So I just want to pop him in without much further ado.
Let's go.
Hey, Mr. Dykes.
Thanks for having me.
How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank y'all for having me on. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, sir. So we got Prince Dykes from the Investor Show.
Oh yeah. Yep, that's me. The Investor Show. Been doing it now for a couple of years, and been getting great support throughout the years. So definitely appreciate it.
And you're also the owner of Royal Financials, right?
Yes, I am founder and owner of Royal Financial Investment Group, and also the founder of Global Children Financial Literacy Foundation, the co-founder.
Excellent.
With my friend Chad Davis.
Awesome. Awesome.
We met Prince Dykes at a school board meeting 2 years ago, and he came before us with the Global Children's Financial Literacy Foundation, and I was wowed. I was taken aback. I'm like, look at this brother doing it. And I came up to him, I'm like, you're doing what I want to be doing in life. I'm proud to see you doing it, right? And life goes on. He got a few interactions with the school board not the school board, but the school district. And 2 years goes by, and we contact each other again, and he's like, oh, I'm on my third book. And here's a picture of Warren Buffett signing my book. What? Talk about that experience.
Yeah, please talk to us about that.
With the third book or the Buffett thing?
Talk about the whole experience of being an author on financial literacy and what you've kind of how you built that up.
As soon as I could do the military, and while I was active duty, I went off and got my associate's bachelor's MBA, and I finished my MBA in 2012. And then I knew once I retired from the military, I wanted to go into the business, finance world in some type of capacity. And one thing I saw veterans struggle with is that post-military, we have a hard time rebranding ourselves into something new that we want to do. So it was like, if we're a cook for 20 years, then we get out of the military, we want to get into real estate, and everybody's like, well, who is this guy? Where does he come from? Or whatever. So to avoid that from happening, I said, well, I want to start a decade early. Before I retire, I want to, so when I get done, I want people to know who Prince Dykes is, what it's all about. I don't have to rebrand myself, anything like that or whatever, right? So right after that, I went on to social media, used social media because I didn't have access to TV. I didn't have access to radio, or whatnot. So, or school boards. I didn't even know anything about, you can go to school board meetings and stuff like that. So I started out on my own, started out with Facebook, then we turned into Instagram and YouTube, and just started doing my own thing. So it was now my son now is 9 years old, but at the time he was about 3. His name is Wesley, right? And what I started doing with Wesley was, as I was teaching financial topics on the YouTube channel, we grew to like 2,000. I was like, man, we got 2,000 people that's following us, and I had to go on deployment. I was looking to go on deployment a year later. And I said, man, how am I going to keep this going when I got to go on deployment? And I decided to, write a book called Wesley Learns to Invest. And because I seen so many children's books, which are great. My son would bring home children's books, and they'll be about saving, they'll be about counting money, they'll be about what is money, maybe kind of starting a business, which all great, but nobody was tackling the concept of investing. So I said, hey, you know what? I want to do Wesley Learns to Invest. So I created Wesley Learns to Invest. I tried to shop it around for a couple of publishers, didn't have anybody that was interested. Ended up publishing it myself in 2015 while I was in Hawaii. And then in 2016, I was a finalist for season 7 of Shark Tank.
No,
And
wow.
while I was going through the Shark Tank process, I didn't make the final cut of Shark Tank season 7 to be aired, but through that process, I met Famous Amos. Famous Amos, the cookie guy, he was on season
Yeah.
7 like twice, right? So he was on season 7 twice, and he really liked what I was doing. He said, "Hey, I really love what you're doing." He said, "I didn't discover Famous Amos until I was 49 years old." He said, "I didn't even graduate high school, you know." So, and he said, when I came into the business world, it was a lot I did not know, right? And he said, "I just really think it's important what you're doing. I like what you're doing." And we built a friendship. He was a guest on my show a couple times, and he ended up hosting my second book, which was Wesley Learns About Credit, that came out in 2017. So I published it in 2017. Wesley Learns About Credit at iHeartRadio in Hawaii. And then, that's the first book that Wesley Learns to Invest. And then once I left in, Hawaii, I turned around and ended up going to, I ended up turning around going to Denver. I had to relocate to come to Denver. And when I came to Denver, I know y'all familiar with Terrell Davis, the football Hall of Famer, and I wanted to interview him because I kind of see him speaking about financial topics. Long story short, I ended up going to the event that he had up at the Broncos Stadium, and we ended up connecting. And he actually liked my first 2 books, and I said, "Hey, I'm actually writing a third one." And he said, "Well, I want to be in it. You got to, I really love this. I really love the books. I really love the idea. I want you got to put me in this next book, right?" And I thought he was joking, but couldn't find out he was serious, very serious, right? And he ended up becoming a guest. He ended up guest starring in my third book that got released in 2019 last year. And we ended up doing it at the Broncos Boys and Girls Club. It was hosted by the wide receiver, Broncos legend wide receiver Rod Smith.
Okay.
Terrell Davis was there, and all the Boys and Girls Club. We had some good sponsors, Belco Credit Union. Shout out to them. They sponsored the event, and they purchased a book for every kid at the Boys and Girls Clubs. So that was great. And then I was the world of finance and investing. We ended up I used to go to Berkshire, Omaha, Nebraska. That's the home of Warren Buffett. I was going in there for about 4 years. I would go to his annual meeting. And throughout the years, I met people along the way or whatnot. And I knew a guy, and he said, "Hey, Prince, I want to have lunch with you, and I want you to bring your books with you because I like your third book that's getting ready to come out." Sat down with the guy, had lunch, and long story short, who I really was having lunch with, I didn't even know until the end, was actually Miss Buffett. So, and Miss Buffett was just like, "Hey, you got to meet my husband Warren," and
Wow.
and then she, they got him on the phone, and they say, she walked me over to his office, and then just walked me directly into his office, and just like, "Warren, you got to meet this guy. His name is, Prince. These are his books, blah blah or whatnot." And Warren saw him and was just like, "Man, this is great. I wish I'd have had this when I was a child myself, whatever." So and he was a cool guy, and he asked me could he keep my books, and I said sure, but they were my only copies. And then
Oh, wow.
Wow.
then he turned around, he wrote a letter to me and my son in each book. And when he did that, I said, "Hey, Mr. Buffett, with all due respect, these are my only copies. And just the fact that you wrote it, I'm going to take those back with me. And, and he said, "Oh, sure. Just, make sure you send some to the office, send some to the office, send us the invoice. We'll take care of it or whatnot or whatever." Right. And he gave me a tour around his office. Then he said, "Hey, actually, we're going to go meet. I have dinner tonight with Becky Quick from CNBC." And I said, "Okay." He said, "If you're not busy, you should join us." Right. I said, "Yeah, I think, I think
I
my
can move a
schedule's
few
pretty
things
free.
around.
Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
can move a couple pieces around. I can make that happen or whatnot." And I ended up joining him, his wife, Becky Quick, for dinner out in Omaha. Becky Quick is from CNBC. She's the big anchor over there or whatever. And being able to sit down with him and talk with him, and that was the great experience. He ended up now my books are in his bookstore, the Bookworm Omaha. So the Bookworm Omaha, that's like we put all his personal selections. So now I was supposed to do a book signing there this year, but things happen. But that's what he made happen, and I thought that was pretty cool. You know,
Wow.
and along the way I met a lot of cool people. A lot of cool people been on the show. A lot of along the way, but that's mostly the gist of that. And in 2017, I launched the Global Children Financial Literacy Foundation, and we work with a bunch of boys and girls clubs, a bunch of schools across the nation, with introducing them to topics of investing, credit, insurance, at the young age. So, and I publish a book about every 2 years. So,
Okay.
that's pretty much me for the.
So talk about how you finish out the program with that.
Oh, what we do is, when I was a kid, first time Mr. Kroll was my economics teacher in 9th grade, and that's my first time ever kind of hearing about the concept of stocks. And I put it in my short-term memory just to pass the test, but because I saw nobody around me doing that, I thought it didn't apply. So with this program, what I want to do, instead of having a pie in the sky and teaching you all this other good stuff, what we do is we make kids shareholders. So we make them, if you read all the books, if you pass all the quizzes on all the books, at the end we award Nike stock. Like we awarded Nike stock, Coca-Cola stocks, you know, things that kids are familiar with. So we'll give them Coca-Cola with a nice little certificate, stock certificate that they can take home, put on their wall, and they're connected with the product as well. So they get the chance to be able to see something that kids are familiar with that they know. And we're taking the pie in the sky, and we're making children shareholders in companies.
Wow.
Wow. I mean, that sounds great, dude. I don't even have words for that.
Yep. And what we also do, the books, they're hardcover, paperback, the ebooks, the audio, and we also turn it into a cartoon as well. And then we do on our financial literacy show, majority of it is tutorials showing parents how to open up an account for their kids, showing people how to buy stock, how to sell stock, how to, dividends, how to have the dividends automatically reinvested, how to build out portfolios, what is the ETF, what is a mutual fund, what's going on in the general thing, like you said, how to buy land online. We have guests coming from around the globe, so that's pretty much it for the most part. Yep, that was the second book that Wesley Learns About Credit, that was published in 2017. So yep.
So your focus obviously is getting that start for the children. So, and do you recommend this book? Is this book at a reading level for? What's the age level, I guess, for the book?
The book series, I wrote it because I knew a kid is not going to walk in the store and say, "Oh, insurance," and oh man, credit. I always want to know this, right? It's probably going to be a parent, right? So I figured it'd be more of a family book than a children's book, right?
Okay.
So the concept is, so many times we pick up books that say nothing at the end. The dog jumped over the moon, great, right? And elephant and the tiger played, cool. But I'm like, hey, I was telling my son, man, you're gonna have some real world stuff here. It don't matter if you become a doctor, a lawyer, or whatever. You're gonna need to know about investing. You're gonna be faced with credit. You're gonna be faced with insurance. You're gonna be faced with real estate, things like that. These are the topics I want to talk about. So the level is about 10 to 13, right?
Okay.
And it's really designed for for the kids and the parents to kind of walk through it and go through it together, and it's giving real world application. Like in Wesley Learns to Invest, Wesley actually walked through the real life steps of buying his first stock and collecting a dividend check. Wesley Learns About Credit, we give I'm giving away in there saying, hey, look, Wesley dad added him onto his credit card, right? And now he gets to at a young age, he's an authorized user of his dad's credit card, and he's building credit at a young age, right? And he's learning from real world things. The concept with insurance, he learns that in the storyline, he has a little lawnmower business, and his lawnmower is up breaking or whatnot. But guess what? He has insurance, and he always has his Uncle Rob, who doesn't make the best financial decisions, where he learns from. So he so that's why I think it's great, because my solution to problems is you have to be proactive instead of reactive. The financial industry is geared towards being reactive. You know, if I brought my car into a AutoZone and said, "Hey," or not, my engine blown out, and they said, "Why did your engine blow out?" "Oh, I never put oil in it." The first thing was say, "Why did you never put oil in it? How did this person get to the point to never put oil in his car?" So this is what we're doing now in the world of finances and investing. So many people geared towards adults, but what can we do to prevent? So, and I think one of the major ways to do to prevent is to introduce at a young age.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, do you recommend that parents seed money to the child to begin that process? What would you? I guess what's the initial things that you would say to a child? This is where you need to start at.
Okay, point blank, simple and easy, right? If you have a child, the first thing you're doing when you start investing for a child, you are increasing their time horizon, right? Most of us don't start to 30 or whatever the case may be. You're starting them over at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? First thing you can do, a couple ways. You can start them a 529 college plan. Secondly, you can either start them a Coverdale ESA, right? Educational Service. I can't remember the acronym, but it's another college plan. Most importantly, you can start them with a brokerage account. You can start them with a brokerage account and buy them some of their favorite companies. So one of the things you can do right now today, a parent, if you got a social security number, all you have to do, and this was a Huffington Post article that I wrote a couple years ago. But one of the things you can do is you can start right now with having your kids and taking your kids and buying them something right now, like starting them with a brokerage account, and then you're making it friendly with them to say, "Hey, look, we're going to buy." You could buy index funds. You could buy some of their favorite companies because kids are the future. Think about it. Everything that is big today started out when we were young children. Look at the Power Rangers. Look at the Marvel movies. Look at the comic books. So we loved Apple products when we were kids, and they just grown. Nike, whatever, right? So kids also, the secret behind that is your children will tell you where the future is going. We know what is good today, but your kids are not going to know what catching the taxi is like.
Right.
Catching a yellow cat, but they're going to know what Uber is.
Yeah.
So right there, you could be like, bing, okay. There is something you're looking at today that your kids, I wake up every day and I look at my son's picture and I say, man, it's something that I'm looking at today that he was like, why did my dumb daddy just go ahead and just buy me a bunch of Uber? Why he didn't buy me a bunch of Tesla? Why he didn't, whatever. He was looking right at it. He had the money, but why did he do that? And that picks my brain every day. Microsoft, Google, all these great companies that we know about, Facebook, right? These companies that household name companies that we know about, Apple. And just to think about it, say, hey, we can start doing that and start investing for your children now. Because guess what? The reason why it can't end up as a loss, because even if I invested and I lost 50% of everything I invested 20 years later, is better than what I was going to put my money in the first place. And where I was going to put my money in the first place, say if I would have bought him some shoes and clothes, where they have gone anyway.
Where it's going to be at. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You did a video about, oh my goodness. Well, you did so many videos, but you definitely you're covering this topic so well. There's actually what everyone that's watching us needs to do is go to Royal Financial's YouTube page. Royal Financial on YouTube, and he has tutorials on how to get into E-Trade, how to get onto all these different stock trading sites, TD Ameritrade. Just remembering off the top of my head a few of them, but entire playlist. I think that one playlist with E-Trade has like 97 videos. He's been doing this for a while, y'all, and he can walk you through the process. We were talking about the last time we talked about financial literacy. We were talking about access points, entry points. Marcus was talking about how you can get in with small dollar amounts. You got any advice for folks, young folks even that are looking to get into investing with small dollar amounts?
Great question. This is how the game has changed from me starting back in 2008. I started investing just blindly in 2007, 2008, right when the market was crashing. And I thought, man, this is the dumbest thing in the world. My parents told me I was going to lose my money. What am I doing, right? And I was able to jump out, just did the dumbest thing. I should have been investing harder, but nobody was there to guide me. I didn't know. I thought it was the end of the world. I literally was in Iraq at the time. So I'm in Iraq. we're fighting in Iraq, we're in Afghanistan, gas prices are through the roof, big companies are just falling, Ford is going down, General Motors is going down, all the companies are going down. So I started to think immediately, man, this is a horrible time for me to start investing. But one of the things that changed the world, now it used to take you a long time before you started investing. Now you can invest with little to no money. How you can invest with little to no money is you can buy fractional shares now. For prime example, Amazon costs $2,600 per share. But you have apps like Cash App where you can buy Amazon for $1. Goldman Sachs just came out and said, hey, you can buy, not Goldman Sachs, but Charles Schwab. They just came out with their initiative where you can buy fractional shares. So one share of Amazon may cost you $1,200, but now you can get a piece of the company for $5, $6, $7, things like that. That's what changed everything for me, right? That's what changed everything. That's a game changer. Also, they took away fees. In order to buy a stock, it used to cost $10. Then it used to cost $7. In the 50s, in the 30s and the 50s, it used to cost $1,000 to just buy and sell. The transaction, right? Just due to technology, when I started investing, if I wanted to buy a share, it used to cost me $10 to buy it. And then when I wanted to go sell it, it used to cost me $10 to sell it. Nowadays, you can get the big chip companies for free.
Yes, and
So
that's
now if I only have $100, you can't say, oh, I only could buy this. You can get fractional shares now. You have apps like Robinhood. You have things like M1 Finances. Charles Schwab owns TD Ameritrade. They purchased TD Ameritrade in October for $25 billion. So guess what? They're going to start doing fractional shares. Next, E-Trade, they're going to follow it too, right? So the whole game has changed to where it's like, hey, you can really pick up your phone right now and purchase $5 worth of Amazon, $5 worth of Apple, $5 worth of where this would have cost us a lot of money and we didn't have access. Like my dad is 74. He said, son, I couldn't just pick up a phone and buy stock. I would have had to drive 2 hours to Atlanta and I'd have had to talk to some broker and I'd at least had to have this much money and all the good stuff. I didn't have access. Whereas you today, you can go set up something for your child, right? Because your children, if you teach the children, that's how you change the future. Right?
So you hit it right on the head. So I own fractional shares of all those stocks that you just mentioned, including Berkshire Hathaway. And so I actually play on a few different platforms. So I have a SEP account. I own a small business, so I have a SEP account that I fund every month like clockwork. In fact, it comes out automatically, so I don't even know.
Everybody know the SEP account because some people might not know what that is.
Yeah, call that out.
I forgot what the three letters mean.
It's self-employed.
Yes.
Self-employed. I can't think what the P is, but I know it's for self-employed people who have their own job, but they want to start their own Roth IRA or 401k.
Simplified employee pension. Employee pension.
So yes, there we go.
That's my pension plan. So I like clockwork, goes in automatically. I don't pay attention to it. I just know that it goes. I don't pay attention what comes out because I know what comes out. It's a set amount every month, and it comes out regardless. And so right now I have a personal financial broker. He's not really a broker. I forgot what you call the financial person. His whole focus is he doesn't make money unless you make money. He's not there for fees and all that other stuff. So that's what he is. He takes care of that. But I get my reports weekly. He contacts me if I want something to buy something. I tell him what I want, and he'll go and take care of that. So that's my SEP. Then I also have an Ameritrade or E-Trade account. But I knew Schwab had purchased Ameritrade, so I'm dabbling with that now. I'm about to tell you something else that I'm dabbling with. And then I also have account through what you call it? I don't know, Stash. You ever heard of Stash? Online account?
Yes, definitely.
Which I've opened up one for my kids as well. So it's a little monthly fee. So I'm playing with that. I may not deal with that. But I started playing around on E-Trade with their little day trade, which, is completely something different. But, you make a little money here, lose a little money there. What are your thoughts on that aspect of it? And just having various forms and looking at and doing the various forms.
Okay. Well, E-Trade was purchased too. They was purchased by Morgan Stanley.
Oh, okay. All right.
E-Trade got purchased by Morgan Stanley. And shouts out to E-Trade. E-Trade, they they tune into my videos. They've reached out to me. TD Ameritrade has reached out to me. All those guys, right? But the thing is, because I would say me, I like to have my money in one spot. I'm not that smart to be all over the place. So you can,
right.
because think about it. You got TD Ameritrade. Let's say Kev got E-Trade and I got Stashed, and we go buy Ford stock. Guess what we're gonna get? Ford stock.
Right.
Same thing, right? So I don't need all these logins. I can put it up on the one little place, right? And companies like Robinhood, Stash, they're cool or whatnot. But the thing about it is, I like E-Trade the most because it has built-in data that I can see. If I want to see how much money did Berkshire Hathaway spend this year or whatnot, I can pull that up right inside of E-Trade, the analytics, the research, right? I'm not somebody who get in and do all the day trading, right? But I'm familiar with it, and I'll get onto that in a little bit. But I like to have my money in one spot. Like you can open up E-Trade and have your SEP account, your children's custodian accounts you can have in there, and you can have your own personal brokerage account all in one login. You can bring them all into one, and when you want to go buy something, you could do it that way, or have everything, right? But the other side with that is the downside to that is, some people don't like to have their money in one spot. Me, I like one spot, and I love to go to the big boys, TD Ameritrade, E-Trade. Now, the other side of the house, you say day trading. Day trading, the professional platform for TD Ameritrade is called Thinkorswim. The professional platform for E-Trade is E-Trade Pro. Thinkorswim is free. E-Trade Pro charges.
Yep.
Now, I'm going to be brutally honest. Day trading is the loser's game.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And what I mean by the loser's game is statistically proven. You got to ask yourself, what is the concept? Why would we want to take a company public? We take a company public to make money from the
right.
public. If Kevin and Marcus and Prince is just logging on, taking money out of Wall Street, it would crash. Right? Just like the casino. The only way the casino is in business is because guess what? More people are putting in than taking out. Right? So the person that gets in and goes against the market, 92% of day traders are failures. Only 8% can continuously beat the market over time, right? That's only 8%. So you don't have to be a mathematical expert to say, do I want to be on the side of the 92 or do I want to be on the side of 8, right? So the person that gets in there and logs in every day is sometimes the more you know, you're going to notice if you take 90-something% of day traders and you compare it to somebody who just had an index fund, the person with the index fund is going to win.
All day.
He's going to win, yeah.
And it's,
I believe it.
And we know that game. And we know this, right? The person who's like, man, I don't know nothing, man. I just buy an index fund every time I get paid. He has a 90% chance of beating markets.
Wow.
Yeah,
so look,
all this paperwork. He got all this paperwork. He got all these charts. He's in there every day. It's coming to his phone. He's missing sleep. He can't eat. He's doing all this other stuff. And Kevin, who's just buying an index fund, when he gets paid 5-10 years, is going to beat you.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh no. Oh, believe me, I know. I don't play with big funds.
so
it's just interesting for me.
I have a lot of friends. I have some people who mastered it and they can do great at it.
Right.
And I'm not discouraging people from that. It's people that do very well at it. It's some people that option trade. It's some people that can do whatnot. But the smartest thing I heard was Charles Payne. Charles Payne from Fox Business. I don't know if y'all familiar with him, but he has a show.
Yes.
Shout out to Charles Payne. Charles Payne wrote me a letter. I will show it to you too. He wrote me a letter. I think I got like a month or two ago, right? I did a book review on this book. The smart thing he said in his book, it was called, I can't remember the title of his book, but I did a review on his book. And the smart thing he said, you have to be a technical person and a fundamental person and merge those together. Like how a technical person reads charts and day trades and the fundamental person pulls up financial reports, put them together. Fundamentals tell you what to buy. Technicals tell you when to buy.
And that book is called Unstoppable Prosperity.
There it is, Charles Payne, Unstoppable Prosperity. Shout out to Charles Payne from Fox Business. But, that was one of his books there that he was really harped on. I mean, it was said in other books and things like that, but he really harped on and said, hey, look, I always read books and it was on two sides. There was a fundamental person and then there was a technical person. This was like one of the first ones where I seen somebody take technical and put it on top of fundamentals.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, let me change the subject slightly because the other half of today's topic is social currency. You and I had a really good conversation offline about not only do we need to worry about financial gain and economic prowess, but the other side of currency is the social currency, not just money.
Yes, and I like to, and I don't know if this is a proper way to say it. If it is called social currency, but I call it social currency, right? And it's that in my life now, especially coming from a little small town of Waynesboro, Georgia, I have a couple millionaire friends, right? And a couple millionaire friends, and some of them are billionaires, right? And they say, hey, well, I want to do business with you, right? Figure out something to where we can come together and do something, right? And if I sit back and I find something that I like, that I want to do, that I believe in, guess what I can do, right? I can go back and call my friends and say, hey, look, I got this great idea. Would you like to invest into me? And they may not, or whatever, right? And they may give me that opportunity. That's called a social currency. Even though that's money in your network, right? Some people say your network is your network. So when I was younger, coming from Waynesboro, Georgia, I didn't know, everybody, not everybody was poor, but most people weren't talking about investing. I didn't even know a millionaire, right? Never heard of a millionaire. That wasn't even a thing, right? So what changed in my life is that you have a new form of currency nowadays, social currency. Like you guys are doing right now, you're building social currency. To where now somebody's going to reach out to you and say, hey, Mr. Ivy, I want to sit down with you because you can get me viewership or you can bring exposure to my product. And that's worth money to people, right? So when you have a network or you have people that are around you to say, hey, you know what? It's some people that I don't have access to, right? They can say, you know what? I want to start a hedge fund. And their neighbors would say, you know what, Kevin, that is a great idea. If you ever think about starting a hedge fund, you give us a call. Right. And these people may have $100,000 to help you start or whatever. Right. And you multiply that times 10 or 12, boom, this person has $1.2 million to go off and start their hedge fund.
Right.
But if you're from an impoverished background, who are you going to call?
Exactly.
So
exactly.
We could be two people. I could be right now, I'm in my basement. Right. And you can have another guy in his basement. But due to my access, due to my social currency, I'm closer to my goal than you are. Even though we got the same amount of money, we have the same thing, but guess what? I got a few people I can call that can do certain things for me and put me in certain positions, and I call that social currency.
Yeah,
It's so valid. That's so valid. I mean, we're dealing with that here. Just being entrepreneurs, starting this whole Dope Black Thoughts movement, this network. We're having to fall upon some of that social currency. People that support us and want to say they want to support Black causes and whatnot. A large part of that is financial, but also bring your connections. That's another way. One of the 75 ways you can help people that are not Black can help Black businesses and whatnot.
Absolutely.
Bring your connections and put us in front of people that that may have the resources that you don't.
And you're right.
Exactly.
And I was talking about this too. By you sit on the board of education for Aurora, you got Mr. Ivy, who's an attorney, right? Y'all have social currency, right? To where you can pick up the phone and just be like, oh, let me text Prince. Hey, Prince, we gonna do this. Oh yeah. I remember you from the board of education and ran into you here. Boom, here you are, right? But if I did not know you, if I never heard of you, you saw me somewhere and say, hey, let me reach out to Prince, it'd have been a way more difficult. Who is this person? And you got to go through the email and, who is it? And when is this or whatnot, or whatever the case may be, you almost feel obligated. It's some people that I know that are PR people, right? And they'll contact me and say, hey, I got the CEO of this company. I want you to sit down and do an interview with him. And I don't even know who the guy is. And I will, right? But if it was a company and I didn't know who the PR person was, guess what? I got to look into the company. I got to look into the CEO. I got to do all this other stuff. No, I'm not really interested in that or whatnot. I've sat down with people that I did not care to talk to, but mostly because of the person that brought them to me. That's how they was able to get to me. And that's social currency. And it's happened vice versa, right? To where let's take, I can't think of all the people I met, right? But let's take Warren Buffett, for example. He probably would have never sat down and said, you know what, get Prince Dykes to my office, right? But somebody else that knew somebody else is like, hey, I like this guy. That's worth money, right?
Yeah.
And they're tuning in, they're watching you or whatnot. So, that means a lot. For prime example, like, y'all say, hey, we know Unstoppable Prosperity by Charles Payne from Fox Business. I never knew who Charles Payne was until I would watch him on Fox Business. And by him being on Fox Business, that kind of built the currency for him. So sometimes your network and who you know and who you have access to could make the difference in somebody's life.
And I'm sure that's quantifiable. I'm sure there's an elaborate formula they can put in there and pretty accurately predict how much money.
Here's a simple way to look at it, right? If you live on a nice side of town, if you live in a nice neighborhood, right? If you live in a, let's say here in Aurora, if your houses are worth $500,000 or better, you live in that particular area, guess what? Who your kids play with and who they grew up with, the likelihood they're going to go off and do great things is way higher than a kid who grows up in the projects, right?
Yes, sir.
So now he's going to say, "Oh man, my friend now is the superintendent. My friend
and that
now
speaks
is
to our economic system, because it's so unlikely for people to break out of their tax bracket even, but just their socioeconomic rung on the ladder. It's so hard to make a step up that ladder. That's why we get involved in politics, but the other half of that is getting involved in the economic system. So if we're not disseminating this type of information, which is why you're so valuable, Prince. If we're not disseminating this information, people won't be able to make that step up to that next bracket, that step up to that next level of engagement with people that are actually worth something. So I can throw a fundraiser and not get $5 bills and $10 bills and handshakes and hugs. I can get real checks with commas.
And it's so that always, and I'm just being honest with you, it's people that I talk to. It's a guy that's set to come on my show next week, right? He raised I think in the last 3 years, his company raised $135 million to launch his idea, right? And I'm sitting here, like, I saw Kevin's face. He's like, and I've had hedge fund managers like, we got $1 billion up under management. Where'd you get $1 billion from? I never even heard of you, right?
Right.
Would you get $1 billion from $100 million? Like, we have a hard time raising $1,000. You can be a politician with all the great ideas. Prince could be sitting here with all the investment knowledge, know all the formulas like the back of his hand, know all this other stuff. But guess what? If he doesn't have access to the economics, it's almost dead, right? Versus you can take Mr. Ivy here, who just knows a fraction of what Prince knows, but he got people that believe in him, that he knows, that say, you know what? Look, I got 100,000, you got 200,000, boom, right? And it's a big difference. And you sit back, you say, man, how is this person able to raise $130 million for this idea, right? I mean, of course, you got to have a plan, all this stuff like that, but it's a social currency that's out there that you don't have access to.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Prince, that's a big deal. And we're gonna be putting together an event, a fundraiser for some local charities and whatnot, and showcasing some Black businesses and opportunities out there in our surrounding areas, and actually statewide. So we're definitely gonna have to stay in touch with you. You are officially a friend of the show.
What's up? DBT.
Yeah, upgraded our social currency.
Oh yeah, definitely. Right. And then a prime example, right? Is people that will take your show. You say, hey, you know what? That was a cool guest he had. Hey, Prince, can you reach out to that guy? People have done that. Prince, can you reach out to that guy? Would you like to sit down with me or whatever? That's called, that's the currency that people don't have access to, right?
Exactly.
So people don't look at it and say, I'm like, hey man, that's, it may not be worth dollars, but it's worth, cents. So people saying, hey, look, who and your network can change everything. I got access to such and such, or whatever the case may be. Like, me and Kevin had a long conversation about it, but that was something I would notice. Like, if you look at, the story I told y'all about Warren Buffett, he put me in his latest book, right? This historian wrote about my whole story and put me in his latest book. If you look on that second, because they gave me 2 pages, look on the second page and look at the bottom, right? They were like, oh, these 2 people, they manage a fund of $6 billion and they're regulars here or whatever. $6 billion, right?
Wow.
That's what they have access under management. I'm like, what do you mean? And when I talk to them, they're like, hey, we have pension funds and, we got insurance companies. I'm like, how do you call these people? Where are they? So that's what let you know, like, hey, my social currency bucket is very low, right? You can be a politician with the best ideas in the world, but without any funds, where's your campaign going?
So look, let's circle that back around to the conversation of entry points and access points to investing and saving and economic moves that we're trying to make. Folks that are living in impoverished communities, Black and brown folks, poor folks, look to upgrade your social currency if you can't upgrade your actual currency yet. So start rubbing shoulders. And what's that formula they say? It's like 30%. I think it's like the 30-30-20 rule or something like that. It's like 30% of the people that you hang out with should make more money than you, or it's something like that. you got to rub elbows with people that are doing the things that you're trying to do. That's something that I started. I grew up very poor household, extremely poor. I don't want to go off into that, but I started kicking it with folks that were doing their thing, that were owning businesses. That's why, hey, look, you know what, Marcus, honestly, if you were as broke as me, we probably wouldn't be kicking it.
Marcus, let's speak on another thing. My dad is a military veteran and retired school teacher, right? By him coming up in his era and being a school teacher, and my mom being a school teacher and owning a daycare center and things like that, that gave me social currency in my hometown. So when I went off to go do things, I had access to school teachers that other people didn't have access to. My old school teachers are now the superintendents and the principals and all that stuff like that. So now they remember me. They know dad, they know my mom, that was a currency, that the average person may not have access to, right? Since they kind of know you. So find people who have that currency and find out how you can benefit them. If you see DBT show, and you see them, they're doing great things, find out a way. Hey, look, guys, I can edit your videos. I can do your audio. I can do an intro. Can I,
talk,
can I
Prince?
how can I get next to you? How can I help you push your brand? Can I run your social media? Can I take your Facebook page? Can I take your Instagram? Right. And now look, when y'all got that currency built up now that, don't always worry about the dollar, worry about the opportunity.
Yes.
Right.
You preaching.
I read plenty of people just came to me and said, hey man, I don't want your money, just give me the opportunity. If I have the opportunity to do something, I suck at it, take it away. But give me the opportunity to be able to do this. Give me the opportunity. If I take the opportunity, I'm gonna run with it, right? To where you're gonna be like, wow, this guy really is the best. He really is Prince, the best at this, So,
I can't thank you enough. We're gonna wrap it up on you because Prince can go. Me and Prince can go. Look here, if we were doing
when I hung up the phone with you, I looked at my timer. I'm like, goodness gracious.
And you wouldn't dominate the conversation either. But no, definitely everything you're saying 100% valid. I want you to tell everyone where they can find all of your stuff. I want just tell them everything.
Yes. If you want to support me, the third book, Part of Ideal. 40% of our shouts out to NFL Hall of Famer Terrell Davis. He wrote off 40% of his profits to go to the Broncos Boys and Girls Club. Also, 10% of our book sales comes back to our foundation, Global Children Financial Foundation. So if you want to support, I always tell people, don't donate to me, support to me, right?
I like that.
Don't donate, support, right? And you get one opportunities. We have, of course, we got the Investor Show mug. I'm telling you, right? I'm telling you, when you start reading this, when you drink out of the Investor Show mug, financial reports are so much easier to read. I'm telling you.
I love that. Okay, I got to get the mug.
I got to
change my life. When I use my Investor Show, I'm like, man, you know what? These financial reports are a breeze, right? So we had that. Of course, we have the entire Wesley Learns series, which is available everywhere. Wesley Learns to invest.com, but there are ebooks, there are audiobooks, there are paperbacks, there are, anywhere you can find books. I know it's a Barnes & Noble that carries them here, but they're on Amazon, they're on Barnes & Noble, they're on iTunes, they're on Audible, if you want to follow me, you can just type in the Investor Show or type in my name, Prince Dykes, and you could find me a goofy guy that looks like me that pop up somewhere, and
literally everywhere.
Literally.
Man. No, I definitely appreciate this a lot. We're gonna definitely support and buy the series for Wesley Learns to blah blah. I think it's important in that aspect. That's part of what we want to do is invest back in those who are given to us. So no doubt about it. We definitely will do that.
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all for having me. I definitely appreciate y'all support. And anytime y'all need me, Kev, you got my number.
Yes, sir. We're going to be pushing you out there because we got to support. We don't want to donate. We want to support. And thank you for upgrading.
Don't donate. Come up with a product. Find ways to support me. People always be like, people love to hit my live Cash App. I'm like, support my product, because if you support my product, my numbers go up. And when my numbers go up, now I can do other things. So if I wanted to, I wanted to write a book with Bill Gates, right? But if I can say, hey, I sold 50,000 copies out of my trunk, and if I can get XYZ, that's numbers. I'd rather have that than to have $100, right? So if I can push anything you can do to push my numbers, that's what is going to be able to help me, give me the opportunity to be able to negotiate something further.
So to put into financial terms, that would leverage your support.
Thank you. It would give me leverage to go to the table to negotiate and say, hey, look, I sold this many copies. We've done this much, or whatever the case may be. Now I would like the opportunity to do X, Y, Z.
Well, we're definitely going to schedule you back on. I just got a text message saying, bring Prince back. So
yes.
Yeah.
And I think what we want to do is we want to kind of do a little bit of a live show, in a sense. We want to take questions that the folks can put to you while we got you, for a period of time. And if you're okay with that, that's kind of ideally what I like to see in this aspect too.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I know y'all using streaming, y'all can do it right here too.
Yeah, no doubt.
Y'all can bring it up. So yeah, definitely open for that. And any way I can support you guys, y'all let me know. And let's make it happen.
That's what I want to hear. Thanks a lot, Prince.
All right, thank you.
All right,
you have a good afternoon.
You too.
Wow, brother.
Yeah, man, that's what's up. That was excellent. No, how long have we been talking about bringing on, a financial advisor, a Black financial advisor that has the ability, to speak to us, speak to our people in that aspect. I needed to get that DBT. Oh, sorry, there it is. Need to get that up in there. Sorry.
Just slide that in there. Since the second episode, actually. So we've been working on this one, and you know what? My face is tired from smiling. Dude was just hitting every point that needs to be hit. That's what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. And honestly, here's another tip: if you want to help the Black community right now, spread this message, spread this episode. This episode is a huge one, and we're going to have him back on. But also follow up with Prince Dykes literature, because we're educating these Black kids is going to be super important, and educating all these kids about financial literacy. The thing is, historically, Black youth have been not necessarily as well versed in financial literacy.
And so that's the thing. What I kind of took out of that a little bit ago is I have E-Trade. I love E-Trade, but why not just go open up an E-Trade account? The great part about E-Trade is you can do some research. In fact, while we were sitting here, I just bought some index funds, VOO, Vanguard Index Fund. I know, I'm tripping. But why not? Why not? I'm like, oh, let me see what this is. No, but no doubt. I mean, you have that ability to do that and really start investing and really start getting into the research. I think you'll find it's more fun because you're dealing with money and you have the ability to make money. So anyway, big shout out to Prince Dykes for coming on for that. I mean, I can't thank him enough and dropping those gems, which is why we had to have him back on this as we begin to expand. So no doubt.
On that social currency concept, continuing that going, here's another way to go ahead. And I see Susan Vitale Lipman in the comment section says already shared. See, that's what I'm talking about. Speaking of social currency, into organizations like Adult Black Thoughts, and if not us, someone like us, right? Jump in and you can volunteer, like he said. Follow that advice, even if it's not us, just do it, because this movement is going to be super important, and we're covering the political aspect of it already. We're elected officials. We're going to rallies, peaceful protests, and we're informing people about the electoral process. But this is another aspect that we have to cover: is entrepreneurship and economic opportunities.
Absolutely, extremely important. And what is a better time than to start your own business? We are falling on crazy financial times, financial crashes, unemployment. Why not take that idea that you birthed and that you've been marinating on and cultivating on and start your business? Start your business. Put together your plan. It's not terribly hard to put together a business plan. Put together your plan and start. Just go out there. Put it out there. As far as we're concerned, whether you get no views or 300 views, we still putting out a product that we hope that folks will come back and rewind and say, you know what, I got something from that. But that's the goal. At the end of the day, what kind of dope Black thoughts are you getting into, and what are you thinking about? So no doubt about it. So we got about 10 minutes, but we got to get into some stuff. So I know you want to go there. Where you want to go?
Man, I mean, okay, so just a little. There's some funny stuff that I wanted to cover. So while we're over here begging to not be murdered, there are people that have been committing some of these crimes that are also begging for their own advantages to remain exactly where they were. So I'm gonna pull up some stuff. Did you have anything in particular that you wanted to cover though?
No, no. Well, you know what? Here's the thing. As you know, we both, of course, as we both know, we're both on the school board. So it's going to be about that time for us to do another town hall. I'm honestly, the rules say if you have three, you gotta post it. So I think we should, me and you should invite someone on, one of the other board members on, and have a town hall
It's
coming
fair.
up soon, and let's talk about that. Let's talk
Okay.
about some issues. Let's talk about the things that's concerning folks, and let's get deep into it. I mean, obviously we can do it now, but I don't want to do that now. I want to invite another person on, and let's get into some deep discussions on some issues. And let's get folks. We'll do it on the DBT platform, and let's get
Okay.
folks the ability to have live comments. One of the things that I loved that we did is we had our first town hall as a school board not that long ago, right? I had made a request that this is what we should do, or at least we should need to have that public feedback, and y'all got together and we made it happen. I think it's important because I don't think it was enough.
Right.
And I'm not there to present. I don't think we should be there to present anything. I think we should be there to sit down and listen, and let's tackle and deal with some of the issues. Let's deal with some of the concerns. We're not there to make decisions. We're there to listen and take that back to the board as a whole. So there's some things there I want to get to, but not now. I just
Yeah.
want to put
Okay.
that out there on a platform that we about to do it, and we gonna make them post it so we can have some discussions and answer some questions. Because yesterday when we had our little special we had a special episode, we had some folks that talked about some things.
Some education.
And
We heard y'all.
absolutely,
So I made a
absolutely.
phone call to a brother that I know that's involved in education, been involved in education for probably at least a decade, probably longer than that. And we're gonna have him on. We're gonna have him on here pretty soon. I'm just trying to get the scheduling knocked out, but he's a friend of mine. So we're gonna cover deep education topics with actual experts. And I mean, and honestly, Marcus, you are quite an authority on education, being PTA for years, president of a school board and whatnot. But we're gonna have on some people that I can actually hang my hat on, letting them just speak and give them the full screen. But let's go to a little lighter topic right now, because what I'm wondering is, how much am I supposed to be concerned when a cop is crying over this? You hearing that?
I'm not hearing it, but I'm hoping. Are the folks? Can y'all hear it out there? I'm just curious because to me, it's hilarious, as well as disappointing and ridiculous, and any other adjective or word that you can use to describe the foolishness of what we just saw.
Exactly. It's weird how it's not putting the volume on it, but I'll get that figured out. But the whole deal was, for the people that are just listening, that was a cop, and I don't care about the ethnicity of the cop. The title of it says "White Cop Crying Over McDonald's." What I do care about is that this cop said, and I apologize for the volume issue. This cop was in line at McDonald's getting the coffee and the Egg McMuffin, and just got the coffee while they were waiting, and broke out into tears, saying, "I'm so nervous right now that I won't be able to eat the food once it comes to me, because I think they might be messing with my food, and don't worry about how long I've been working and if I've saved anybody's life." Try being a Black person who can never trust if their food is being tampered with at any restaurant, because the cook can be racist, the waitress could be racist, the manager could be racist, the server could be racist. Just any one random person, the janitor could be racist, and they see your plate sitting there on the edge right there. Anyone could do that at any restaurant you go to at any time, and that's on the color of your skin. She can take that uniform off. I can't take off this black skin.
Dude, it was like I said, it was hilarious. It was ridiculous. It was almost a joke in that aspect, because I actually thought it was a joke at the beginning, and then as I really started to watch this, I'm like, she's serious. She's crying over it. I mean, and the concept of, if I saved anybody's life today, listen, I'm not going down the job of a police officer, but and I told y'all my grandfather was a police officer
I had
in
an
the
uncle.
South Side of Chicago, and the majority of his time is not involved in danger. It's a small percentage of time, but it's almost like she's pandering to us to feel sorry for her, that, hey, I may have saved somebody's life, I should be getting thanked. uh
If
Come
that's
on.
the case, I'm sorry, guys. Point of personal privilege, Marcus, if I may. Thank a truck driver. Truck drivers are saving lives by the second on the road.
Hmm.
If I'm pulling 2 trailers down the side of a mountain and all I need to do is sneeze and I can kill tons of people. By the way,
Hmm.
that happened last year or the year before. A gentleman that wasn't from Colorado was coming down the mountain, and those signs say, "You're not done." He says, "Truckers, you're not
Oh,
done.
yes,
You're
right,
not."
I've seen it. Yes.
The reason they say that is because we'll forget and it looks level to us, and we'll take off the engine brakes and whatnot, and the regular brakes aren't enough to stop me. Now I have to worry about my life, but how many people did that one guy? He was like 28 years old. I think he'd only been driving for 3-4 years. He killed tons of people, all kinds
Hmm.
of people, and that was an accident. What if they're mad? What if they get road rage? What if they didn't go to sleep last night and sleep well? Everyone else out here has risk. And by the way, when you go by the numbers, it's more dangerous to be a truck driver than it is to be a cop. And I've been one
Oh,
for 14 years.
well, let's talk about that. By the way, once again, I'm not sitting here pounding on police officers, but I had to go to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics in terms of what are the top 10 deadliest jobs. Here's a fact: police officers are not in the top 10. So number one, loggers. Number two, fishers and related fishing workers. Number three, aircraft pilot and flight engineers. Number four, roofers.
Oh, yeah.
Roofers. Number five, structural iron and steel workers. Number six, refuse and recyclable material collectors. Number seven, electrical power line installers and repairs. Number eight, drivers, sales workers, truck drivers. Truck drivers. Number eight. Number nine, farmers, ranchers, and agricultural managers. Number 10, construction workers. That's your
Dude,
top 10. That's your
farm,
top 10.
those ranch guys, I don't know if it's a ranch or if it's a farm, but when they have those grain silos, did you know that there is a rash of people that get sucked down into the grain silo? Because
I
sometimes
had no idea.
feeding arm that goes in there, sometimes the grain gets piled up and it'll just overflow and fall into the ground and will be destroyed. And they call it like walking the grain or something like that. I'm forgetting the term, but they have to walk on it. But the problem is, once it gets broken free, it can wash them
Wow.
in. It's like quicksand, and they'll go in there and they'll suffocate. This happens very regularly, and that's just your standard farmer. That's your standard grain supplier, and we all eat rice, we all eat wheat. This is a very, very normal thing. By the way, you got your roof done. How many regular people are trying to throw something on their roof and fall off and break a rib, break a leg, break a back, or die? I happen to know someone. You know him. You know Bill. Bill fell off of his roof recently and broke 3 ribs, and he was an elderly gentleman. Could have lost it all.
Sheesh.
I'm not saying that it's not dangerous to be a cop. By the way, hats off to the police. Thank you for doing what you're doing. But what I want to do is I want to lighten your load and let mental health professionals do mental health work. I want to let social workers do social work stuff, and not bring people with guns to people that are having a mental health breakdown, or people with guns to someone that just needs a home. I don't want you coming up to them. That's not
Dude,
what needs to happen.
yeah, that's just factual. And so I know somebody will probably ask, well, what do they rank? I got the number for you. I had to go through a number of different surveys, and honestly, like the top 10 are the same, are static. So so let's just do this. Number 15, police officers and firefighters. So police officers and firefighters are at about the same rate. So
Man,
of the 15th deadliest job in America, guess who's the next deadliest after the police officers? Janitors and pest control specialists. Janitors.
hey, thank a janitor. You know, you guys, appreciation to your janitors. Why aren't you? Hey, you know what? I think we'll be ready. Us janitors will be ready to come and clean up your mess if you would just say thank you a little bit more often. No one's saying that. No,
Yep.
I don't want I don't want you to worship at my feet if my job is more dangerous than yours. I just think that all of our lives matter equally. And the thing about Black Lives Matter is it's really a question. Do Black Lives matter?
Well, you heard me ask that because that's the question we ask in court. Do Black Lives matter? Because I don't understand. I mean, I don't get it in the sense of the disparities and so forth. So no doubt about that. But to bring it back to our officer, it's almost comical. But if you actually went on Twitter and actually saw the actual Twitter post of it, you would see people there consoling her because she didn't get her egg McMuffin.
You know what? What was that one lady that killed Botham Jean? Shot him in his own apartment.
And Amber something.
Amber. I thought we weren't going to be saying their names, but anyway, that one. They went over there and patted her on the back. I think it was the judge. Patted her on the back, fixed her hair for her, and everything.
Judge hugged her.
Judge hugged her. Yeah, I had to get her
along with Botham Jean's family. And I got to be honest, that angered me. That angered me. I mean, I understand the concept of forgiveness and whatnot, but this woman took this man's life. He will never live again. He will never grow up. He will never grow. He will never learn. He will never be able to love. He will never be able to hug. He will never be able to call his mother and say, "I love you."
Or listen to his gospel music or eat his butter pecan ice cream,
as he was doing in the comfort of his home. So we thought it was comfort, the safety of his home. No, he won't get to do that. And it's no joke. It is no joke.
You know, my little struggle story from back in the Gap was when I was in 5th grade, a friend of mine named Andy got shot in the drive-by sleeping in his own bed. And I didn't understand the gravity of that until I was probably 30 years old. I was not equipped with the emotional processing skills to understand how that affected me. And I did not receive any bullets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine how it feels to know that you go home and you're just going to get shot. It's a distinct possibility. And people are going to uplift that person that just shot somebody. Now, when I grew up, it was in the 90s. There was a lot of Bloods and Crips, a lot of drug dealing. It was the crack era and whatnot. I was able to say those thugs committed that drive-by and just shot up somebody that didn't do anything to them. How horrible was that? But we didn't do that in America as a society then. I'm glad that in 2020 we're doing that. We're doing that today. Some of us, I'm going to say, I don't even know if it's the majority of Americans are actually really on the side of what everyone's talking about right now. But you know, we're hearing the right message now. Let's make it concrete. Let's get the right people in office. You know, we were just talking about district attorneys and whatnot. I'm supporting Amy Patton here as our district attorney in JD 18, but that's a judicial district. Everyone that's listening, you need to find out what judicial district you live in. One, you need to pull up your ballot. Your primary ballot should have arrived to your home already. They've already been mailed out. If you live in my state, in other states, it's somewhere soon.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And do some research, get on Google, check out their web pages and see what they're talking about. See if these people support the thin blue line, if they support prosecuting police that have wrongdoing. And Marcus, I'm just one more point real quick. It is the most dangerous job in the world to be a good cop. Because the bad cops will make your life hell. They won't back you up, or they'll even put out a vendetta against you. You might have a target on your back, just like these Dope Black Thoughts t-shirts.
That's the target.
You know, man. You know, I got something for us, man. I'm gonna put it on next show. It just popped into my head. I gotta be up here.
So, I mean, I know we over an hour. I just want to throw out my dope black thought of the day. That is, open an investment account and put in $5 to start. Because you have the ability to purchase fractional shares, why not? Why not? Give yourself a brain challenge, if you will, which will force your brain to think and to run. And on top of that, you have the ability to make money. So why not? So that's my thought of the day. Open up an account and just start putting a little money in it every month, every week, whatever, and start investing and seeing what you can do. Make it happen yourself. If everyone else has gotten rich or made money off of it. Why can't you?
I don't have anything to throw behind that. Let that sink in. Listen to Marcus. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It's been a wonderful episode. Hope you support everybody that we're supporting, including Prince Dykes. Support the show. Check us out on Patreon. Stay black. Stay dope.
Peace.
Peace.